A man compliments a girl and then he kidnaps her. One woman then tells the other what was going on. The man then finishes putting the girl in his car, and meanwhile the woman says that she would help the girl. At that moment, the man gets into his car and his companion, who was inside the car, goes to the front seat with the man. The woman then sneaks behind the car, and when she gets there, she tells her sister to go to the front of the car. She then proceeds to tell the man that his car was broken. The man then wonders what that woman was saying, and she tells him that his car was leaking gas. She then takes a bottle of water and throws it on the ground, making it look like gas has leaked out of the car. The man's friend tells him not to pay any attention to the woman, as she is supposed to be just looking for money. He then tells them to get out of there. The man then said he didn't understand anything, but at this moment, the woman appears in the car window. She tells a man to get out of the car as it was leaking gas. She then said that her husband was a mechanic and that if the man wanted to, she could call her to help him. He says he didn't understand anything, because he had just taken his car to the mechanic shop. At that moment, the man's friend gets out of the car and goes to see what was going on. The man then said he didn't understand what it was and says it was very strange. The friend then asks why there is a leak right now in the man's car. The woman then opens the trunk of the car and tries to wake the girl up. The man then suspects what the sister was looking at and asks what was going on. The woman then hears that and decides to hide inside the trunk. At this point, the man's friend goes to the back of the car to see what's going on, but he doesn't see anything wrong. Meanwhile, the woman was trying to get the little girl to wake up. At this time, the man tries to smell the liquid. He then realizes that it wasn't gasoline, but water. He understands this to the woman that he was very busy, but thanks her for her help. The two then get into the car and the man's friend says they were wasting their time there. The woman then has an idea. She takes something and puts it under the man's tire. When the man starts to walk with his car, he runs over it and ends up getting a flat tire. So they question what had happened, and his friend and tells them to go see what it was. My friend then get out of the car, and at that moment Tomorrow appears. The man then asks what she wanted again. She says the man's tire had gone flat and he says he already knew about it. Meanwhile, the woman keeps trying to get the girl to wake up, but this time she finally succeeds. She then asks what happened, but the woman tells her to be quiet. The sister then tells him to get out of the car as his tire was flat. The man then tells her to stop bothering him, as her friend had already gone down to fix his car tire. Meanwhile, the woman tries to get the girl out of the car, but she says she couldn't because her feet were trapped. The woman then helps the girl to untie her feet. At this point, the man's friend comes back and says that his tire had gone flat. The man then said that that was impossible, as he had recently changed the tires. At that moment, he looks back looking for the little girl. He then receives a call on his cell phone and wonders who it could be. Soon, he gets out of his car to answer his cell phone. At that moment, the woman tries to get the little girl out of the car, but she ends up not being able to. The sister, seeing that, runs to help the woman open the door. She then manages to open the door and the two get the little girl out. When the woman was trying to get out, she ends up getting stuck and not being able to get out. She calls out to her sister and tells her that she couldn't get out because her foot was stuck. The sister then asks what they were going to do now and tells the woman to hurry up. She then tells her to take the little girl to a safe place, as she would stay there. Meanwhile, the man was still on the phone. The sister then manages to get the girl to a safe place. She then tells the girl not to leave there, but the girl tells her not to go back there, because that place was too dangerous. The sister then said that she needed to save the woman, but the girl told her not to go there, as it was too dangerous. The sister then tells the girl not to leave that place. At that moment, the girl's mother arrives and asks what she was doing there. The girl then says that she really needed her mother's help. She said that they needed to go to her friend, but her mother said that she couldn't, as she needed to take care of some matters. The mother then receives a phone call from her and the girl keeps urging her to help her. At this moment, the man's friend runs past the two and goes to the car where the man was. He then gets into the car and asks where the man was. The man then asks the reason for that and said he hadn't gotten out of the car. The friend then says that the man had let the girl escape, as he had just passed by her with her mother. The man then tells his friend for him to always put the blame on him. Then he tells his friend to check that the girl wasn't in the trunk. When the friend was going to open the trunk, the sister appears behind him and ends up hitting him in the head. At this time, the man appears and tells her not to move. The woman then asks the man not to do anything to him, to his sister. The man then tells them that he wasn't kidding there. He then says they were just wasting his time, so he closes the trunk. Meanwhile, the girl was telling her mother that she needed to listen to her. The man then tells his sister that she had ended his plans. He said that he was going to make a lot of money with the girl, but at this moment, a policewoman arrives and says that he was under arrest. The man then says that he could explain, but the officer says that he would only explain at the police station. At that moment, the girl and her mother reach a car. The woman then thanks the girl for her help and asks where her sister was. The little girl's mother tells her to take it easy and starts calling for the woman's sister. The woman's sister then arrives at the scene and hugs her sister. They then start asking if the girl was okay. The girl's mother then thanks the two for saving her daughter. The policewoman then goes to the man's friend and starts trying to wake him up. He then gets up and asks what was going on. The policewoman then arrests him and tells him that he would go to the police station.